Hello and welcome back to the One of the Family podcast by Blue Circle Cement. I'm your host, Aisling. On today's episode, we're joined by Holly, who goes by the Singing Brickie on Instagram. Holly tells us what it's like to be a woman working in the construction industry and any advice she gives to any young girls or women considering entering the trade. We hope you enjoy episode 3. So Holly, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what exactly you do and how you got into the to become a tradie?
Yeah, so at the minute I'm working with my dad and my brother. I'm 34. That's when I got into it, which obviously is quite late on. It's something that I've always wanted to do. When I'd left school, my dad had kind of said, "Not a chance. It's not happening." But because I've sang from a very young age, I just kind of said, "Okay." And then went into the singing, which, I moved away at 17 on a holiday park. I sang there for 3 years and then did tour and pantos and been all over gigging. And I've also worked in retail during the day in all of that time as well, which has been great. There's always been that thing there that just wasn't quite right. So last year, my mum passed away. And I think that's just when I thought, there's something I want to do. It's got to be now. Well, that's when I decided that I'm going to get into this. I'm going to learn bricklaying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like doing a career change then from like singing full time and like having your other jobs on the side to go into becoming a brickie?
It wasn't as easy as I'd first thought because I'd already asked my dad years ago. This time round I didn't at first, so I looked at online courses, but at 34 it's a little bit different because obviously a lot of the courses I would have had to pay for. And when you've got a mortgage and a child and you've got a retail job as well, I couldn't really leave that and then, to switch jobs. So I bit the bullet and I asked my dad again. And I think they all thought I was going through a bit of a midlife crisis. And he said, well, you need your CSCS card and your health and safety, and then we'll see. So I did all of that on the quiet and then kind of presented it to my dad and my brother and said, okay, well, I'm ready now. And I think they still thought it was a little bit of a joke, but they humoured us and let us on site. My dad bought us my first pair of boots. We had to order online because no one did small sizes. And he bought us a pair of work trousers, which were about this much too long. But I think he got a Stanley knife actually when we got on site, and he cut them off the bottoms. But yeah.
What's people's reactions whenever you tell them that you're a brickie?
No one believes us at all. Sometimes I have to kind of show them a picture that I've took on site. No one believes it. A lot of the men just laugh, and most women that find out, because see, it's when I'm on stage with my sister, she'll sometimes say, "Oh, guess what Holly's day job is?" And no one ever gets it. It's always something, whatever they say. And yeah, they don't believe it until they see a picture or until I show them my muscles. They've grown in a year, believe me.
Yeah, you don't need a gym now.
Oh, definitely not. Honestly.
Do you quite like their surprised reaction to it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. A lot of women are like, good on you, girl, which is nice. And I think probably a lot more women would have liked to have gone down this route. But with time, I mean, as a child, I remember my dad would work and my mum would have his tea on the table when he got in. His bait would be made for him. And times have changed. I do my own bait. I have to make the teas when I get in. It's not how it used to be. And I'm not looking for any kind of sympathy because I love it. I love all of it. I love the early mornings. It all just goes hand in hand, really. The weather.
Yeah, people are a lot more accepting of it now. Yeah. Women in like a more male-dominated role. Were you met with any resistance whenever you kind of joined the industry?
I know when I went for my health and safety test, I think I had acrylic nails on at the time, and obviously I don't have them now.
And the days are long gone.
Yeah, and it was all men that were in the room, and some were renewing their card, and some were there for different things. So, but you know, they were saying how great it was, and we need more women, and some of them were saying, you know, you should look into health and safety rather than bricklaying because that's a much safer role to have. I don't know. I don't think I had much resistance. I think there was probably a lot of niggers and possibly stuff was said behind my back, which I haven't heard. But I've had a good experience with it all. Everyone's been really nice.
Yeah, and it didn't deter you, like put you off or anything like that? If anyone said anything, no?
No, not at all.
Yeah. What was your first day on site like?
It was very daunting. You know, it was winter time, so it was trudging in mud. I think I bashed my head on scaffold about 5-6 times. I put my gloves on the wrong way. I couldn't pick up a towel of muck. My arm just ached for about a week. And I did question after that first week. I thought, like, in my mind, I'm like, yes, I can do this. If my brother can do it, I can do it. And we've always had that kind of anything you can do, I can do better kind of thing. But obviously when he started straight from school. So it's a little bit different starting at 34 as a woman as well, because, you know, we are built very differently to men. You know, and it is a very physical job. So that took quite a bit of getting used to lifting and everything like that.
How did you overcome that?
Just kept going. I would start off probably lifting smaller, because when I first started, I did think I was a bit of a hero, and I was like, I'll get that, I'll do that. But then I woke up in agony, you know, the next day, and I thought, do you know what, just little and often, just lift what you can, and it's built up over time. Yeah.
You can always just make a few more trips.
Oh, yeah. And do you know what? A lot of the lads on site and stuff, I mean, it does make us smile because they're like, do you need a hand there, love? And that's nice. And I mean, I hope it's not just because I'm a girl. I'm hoping that they would help a fella if they were struggling as well. But I don't really struggle very often. Like I say, I would just leave half of whatever and then go back for it.
Yeah. So you've been labouring now for a year. What's the last year been like? Has there been any like highs or lows?
I think it's been difficult with COVID, because just when I felt like I was getting into the swing of things, obviously then we had to have a little bit of time off. But it's been really interesting, to be honest, learning far more than I thought was involved with the job. I don't know if maybe when I started, I just thought it was just pop the brick on and continue. I didn't, but it's been fantastic learning everything about the job.
Yeah, you've probably noticed such a big change from when you started to now.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you say, like you've mentioned, like it's a wee bit tougher for women, maybe, like with the workload and stuff? Is there like, what's like the pros and cons of being a woman in the industry?
I think the pros are like every day is different. So every day you're met with a new challenge. I do think you've got to have a thick skin to be in the industry. Obviously, for a lot of years, there has been no women. I mean, I'm not 100% on what the statistics are. I think the last time I'd looked, there was something like 12% of women in the trade, and it was even less for actual women on site. But it's quite an empowering feeling as well, to know that you're doing something and that you're changing people's thoughts on the industry as well. And I think as for cons, it depends what type of person you are, really. The cons could be the long days in the summer, the horrid weather in the winter, I think the main one for me is sometimes the men's toilets not the men's toilets, but the site toilets on a Monday morning. That's that's probably the worst thing, because this is going to sound really grim. I've cleaned the toilets once or twice because I haven't wanted someone to follow me in and think that was up me. So that's probably the only cons. But yeah, you've got to have a thick skin and not take things too seriously. You know, these people are working outside in sometimes horrific weather, and everyone tries to cheer everyone up and keep the spirits up on site. And yeah, you can't really take it too seriously.
Yeah, you mentioned like the toilets. Is like the sites, are they kind of more like inclusive? Like, is it really there?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on three sites in the past year, but two of those I was given a key from your toilet, and there was a site where it did say ladies above it, but because of COVID, the men's toilets, where there's a lot more of them, they've kind of had one on, one off. The ladies does get used. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, there might be some people that would mind that, but everyone's just there to do the job, really, and everyone's just in and out. There's no...
Yeah, it might have been something you were kind of expecting going in anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned taking a Stanley knife to a pair of work trousers. Would you say like the workwear brands are getting a wee bit more inclusive? Because I've seen like women's ranges and stuff on site online.
Yeah, I think they probably are. I mean, I have looked online, but in terms of when I've been to shops, there isn't really anything in the shops. But I mean, I've still got those trousers upstairs. I don't wear them now. I just put a pair of jeans on instead because it's just easier. Yeah. But yeah, I think there probably could be more. But then I totally understand from a brand's point of view, if there isn't as many women, it's not financially in their interest to make more.
Yeah, if the demand.
That makes sense.
Yeah, if the demand's maybe not there.
Yeah, but like I ordered some things before, just a size small, but even a small men's, you know, sometimes just hanging down and then you catch the line and get shouted at.
What's it like now going to work and putting on like your workwear clothes, because you used to work in retail, like compared to like getting glammed up in the morning time?
I get ready far quicker, that's for sure. I just pop on a bit of mascara, which my brother always ribs us for. He's like, why have you got makeup on? I'm like, well, just mascara. I'm not here to impress anyone. But if that, there's that as well. If that's what makes someone feel comfortable, then that's
it
is, isn't it?
Do you see many other women on site?
I haven't came across any working on site. I've came across I've seen a surveyor on site, but I think that would be it. I haven't seen anyone doing a trade. I do follow some women on social media, but they're in different countries, and I follow Beth Skinner, and I think she is just remarkable. I think she's a fantastic young woman who is doing wonders.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah. So is it nice, like online community of like female tradies?
I think so. I mean, I haven't really spoke to many, to be honest. I just follow them and like the pictures and, thumbs up. But
it's nice to have that encouragement, or you can go on to their profiles and see how they're getting on.
Yeah.
It's relatable. What is your view about like the imbalance of women in the trade? We've kind of touched on it, but
I think a lot of women don't think that it's something they can get into. I think it's not really instilled in us from an early age that it's something we can do. And I know that career advisors certainly 17 years ago for me when I was at school, it was very much the trade was for boys and everything else was for girls. So I do think that it needs to be introduced earlier, probably even earlier than secondary school. Even infants or primary, if young girls know from that age that it's a possibility, then it might be something that they start looking into.
Yeah. So do you think it's kind of like it should be looked at from like the career advice perspective and stuff like that, or like maybe the parents' role and stuff like that of introducing these career options to younger girls?
Yeah. I think even earlier than the career advisors, because at that point, I think some people have like, I think we do still have that's a man's job, that's a woman's job. And obviously, women have came on so much over the years. It just doesn't seem like we have in this industry, which is strange. I don't know whether that's because it is very, like the manual labour side of it, or I don't know. But I mean, I know my daughter, she's 7 and she's over the moon. She loves the fact that, you know, mummy's building houses, shall we say. That's what she tells everyone. And I think one day I'm probably going to turn into my dad. I mean, my dad, when whenever we're out driving anywhere, or if he comes to a gig, he'll say, "Oh, drive this way," and it'll be, "I worked on that," or "I helped build that." Yeah, I think I'm probably going to be the same.
Yeah, my dad's a plumber and he does that too. And I'm just like, I don't care. Do you think from your daughter seeing you in your workwear clothes and hearing what you're doing on site in the days, do you think maybe it might be something she'll aspire to do career-wise?
Hope so, yeah. I hope that she'd not let people put her off or be put off by the dirtiness of it, because it's actually a really rewarding job, and it's you can have such a laugh, and you're learning all the time. And I hope that she gets a bit of my work ethic as well, which I've got from my dad. I mean, my dad's 73 and he's still laying bricks. He could have and should have probably retired 10 years ago, but he still loves the job, and that says something. He can't really tell me not to do it when he's still doing it at his age.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, it must be enjoyable if he can still do it.
Yeah. Do you think it's almost like a passion instead of a job? Yeah. So you mentioned at the start, you also have a singing career. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So at the minute, obviously with COVID, I'm not able to sing, but on a normal week, I would sing every Friday, Saturday and Sunday night, which works perfect actually, doing this job as well. You know, I do this Monday to Friday, early finish on a Friday, which gives us time to get ready for the gig, and I've got the weekends off with my little one. It's just works so well. I mean, I don't get much chance to sing on site. I sing along with the radio, but as soon as I get a bit loud, I think my brother's just embarrassed. He's like, shut up.
Do you not get like loads of requests on site for a song?
Like normally, like when we go to a job, my dad will, like, he feels like he has to mention that I have this other job. I don't know if he's embarrassed at the fact that I'm doing this with them. So I feel like he always seems to say, "Oh, she's got another job. She's a singer as well." But this singing, it doesn't even really feel like a job, even though for 17 years it's been my main income. It's you know, I love it so much, so it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah. Do you think your father's perception of you going into the trade and like his hesitation around it was a generational
Definitely.
thing?
Yeah, definitely. I think he probably back then worried what people would say to him. But then 17 years ago, I think it would have been even worse in terms of women on site. I do sometimes mention it when I'm on stage. Oh, this is what I'm doing now, and my dad said a few times, you shouldn't mention that. You shouldn't mention that. That's what you do during the day because it might change perception of you. And I'm like, I'm not bothered. Like, I don't feel ashamed by it. I think there was once I'd said it on stage, and I think there was someone sat near me, Dad, that had said, "Oh, bricklayers a tenner penny." Or they'd made some kind of comment.
Yeah.
I think from that, my dad had kind of. But I just think, no, you know what? I will mention it. I'm proud of it. I think my dad should be proud of the fact that it's what he does.
He's probably more protective over you. Maybe that's what it is.
I think so.
Yeah. How do you manage to juggle your working on site and having a singing career like pre-COVID and having a young daughter as well? Like if there was any maybe women listening to this that have young children, or maybe someone who has also like another passion they want to pursue, like is there any tips or advice?
I think I'm lucky in the fact that my daughter's 7, so she can go to the early morning school clubs, she can go to after school clubs. Like I say, I get to spend my weekends with her, which I never did before. In retail, you would always have to work like at least one of the weekend days. This is going to be one of the first Christmases that I won't have worked Christmas Eve and Boxing Day, because in retail that was always a given. You had to work those days. So I'm looking forward to being able to spend that extra bit of time.
Yeah.
But I've got a good family network as well who'll watch her for me and that are there to support me in doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's probably a lot more of a flexible industry than people might actually think it is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Have you had any like real lows like the past year where you've maybe thought about packing it all in and not doing it, or like quitting?
Not really. I know when I first started, everyone had said it's going to be cold, you might not be able to hack the winter. But for me, it was the summer. The summer just was ridiculous. I mean, I'm really fair-skinned and I've never caught the sun in my life. I just burn. So when it got to the summer, I was, sticking out. I think I bought baby sun factor and I put that on and I was covered and I managed to get a tan. It was a t-shirt tan that I've still got now. So then I had to be careful on what I was wearing on stage because I didn't want to just have these like lily white shoulders.
We call that farmer's tan.
It's crazy. And it didn't matter how much fake tan I put up here, it was there. No, I don't think I've had any real lows. I think, sometimes the cold can be a bit much and I'll layer up so much that I'm like the Michelin man, but that doesn't save me fingers. That's the only place I would say I really feel it, in my fingertips at the minute, but my brother said apparently that'll go.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Yeah, so hopefully so.
What's it like working with your family?
I don't know if they are harder on me or not. I don't really have anything to go off. But it's good, like we've all become so much more closer. I mean, I was already close with my dad and my brother, but with this, we are even closer. Like we'll have a laugh and we'll sit on the scaffold and have our bait and just chat about things. We argue, obviously, quite a bit. I think I've done something right and then I'm getting told no, that's wrong. And but no, we do get on.
Yeah, it's good to hear. Lastly, if there's any young girls or women listening to this, what advice would you give them if they were hesitant about joining the trade industry?
I think you've just got to go for it. Don't be frightened of it. Yes, it is male dominated, but we've got to get more women into this. It's fantastic place to be. You're learning a trade. Every day is different. Some people are not great at school, but they're fantastic visual learners. And I think in this type of industry, that's perfect for those type of people. Don't be put off by the public perception that it's not for a woman. If you've got the right mindset and determination, you'll absolutely fly with it.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Holly. It's been great talking to you, and I think you're an inspiration to young girls and women in the industry. Where can people find you if they want to follow you on social media with your career?
So on Instagram, I've got a page called the Singing Brickie.
Mm-hmm.
And on Facebook, I've got a duo with my sister, which is the Hudson sisters. Not very original, but yeah,
it works.
Yeah.
Thank you, Holly.
Oh, thank you so much for your time.
This Christmas, Blue Circle Cement are running a One of the Family 12 Days of Christmas. There's lots of prizes up for grabs, from hampers, merchandise, workwear, and the grand prize of a cordless combi drill. To enter, the link is in the description box, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook to see the list of prize winners. The next episode of the One of Family podcast will be on the 13th of January. So in the meantime, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Blue Circle Cement team.